So when it comes to Jira, what is Jira? Why we use Jira? Okay. So in our real time, this is a day-to-day activity. In real time, Jira is day-to-day activity. If you want to work on anything, the first thing you have to start with Jira. You have to start with Jira application. Okay. So let me give you overview of why we use it, how we use it. Then I'll take you to the actual development part. So for example, any company that gets software, like they are getting some product to implement it, right? So for example, company got a new requirement. Some software we have to implement. Maybe the hospital is the software. Hospital is the software. Okay. So when they got the software to the company, so this is the company got the complete requirement saying that I wanted to have a software which will have the end-to-end automation flow. So when this is received to the company, what they will do, first thing they will divide into the different functionalities. Like what needs to be implemented first, what needs to be implemented next. So they will divide, for example, they will divide it to the functionality 1, and then functionality 2, and then functionality 3. So let's assume that this software has 3 functionalities. Right? So when the company has got a application, they have to divide it with this some instead of big chunk, instead of big story, they have to divide that entire story to the small boxes or small stories, because the entire story cannot be handled by one developer or 2 developers, right? We have to deliver the product piece by piece. So for that, let's assume that for this software, we have a functionality 1, functionality 2, functionality 3. Okay. We are planning to push first functionality 1, which will have only the registration. Then functionality 2 will have the inpatient. Functionality 3 will have the outpatient. Okay. Let's assume that smaller pieces we are going to deliver. Okay. So what is each one, what it will have? Like when I say each one, when I get the functionality 1, what are the steps that we have to do as a company or as a team member? What are the things that I need to check? Right now, I'm talking about as a company. So when we receive a functionality 1, okay, when I received it, first thing what we will do, we'll plan it. We'll plan the feature, how to implement it and when to implement it, everything we'll plan it. And then we will implement it. Then we will implement. Once the development is done, then it goes to the testing. And if testing perfectly process the fine, then it is going to be the client deliver, or we can say it as a reviewer. Reviewer means client is going to review it. So it is going to be the review. So what is the flow when I get the functionality? The first thing is that plan. We will plan the functionality. Then based on that, the developer will implement the functionality. Then it goes to the testing. Once the testing is done, there you go, the review will happen. Review will happen by the client. In case if a reviewer says that, okay, in case if the reviewer says that whether it is satisfied or not, like as per their requirement, whether it is successfully processed or not. That means whether the reviewer is satisfied or not. First we will check it. If it is reviewer is satisfied, that means this is yes. Sorry. So if reviewer is satisfied, Then we are going to push this to production or add it to the building. Add to build. So that means before going to the production itself, will give the our product to the client so that client can review. Where we will give the client to review it, we will give the UAT access, or company will create a separate sandbox for them. So once they are satisfied, everything goes fine, then we will push that into the production. In case if it is not satisfied, then again we have to start planning. If the client is not satisfied, then we have to start the planning again. So what we have to do, again, we have to plan it based on the latest requirement, implement the changes, push it to testing, and then review. We'll give it to the, after testing, we'll give it to the client. So this is ideal process for any company, any project, whatever the project you do it, this is the flow. This is overall company level, this is the flow, right? So even at the high level also we'll have the same thing. But wherever we go, these three steps are whatever I have mentioned, these three steps are mandatory. Any project you take it, we have to plan that project, implement the project, test it, and then we'll give it to the review. If reviewer is satisfied, then it will push it to the production. That means this functionality one is completed. In case if the reviewer is not satisfied, then we will push it to the again plan. Let's go ahead and change the existing functionality because client did not like it. Right? So this is the entire process. This entire process, we will handle everything into the Jira. Jira is basically the tracking tool. Jira is tracking tool. What we will do in Jira, we'll plan, and then we'll track, and then we'll manage. These three things we'll do it in the Jira. We'll plan it, we'll track the assignment, and we'll manage it. And any for future reference, Jira is the one where we will review the changes. So if wherever you go, whichever the company you go, Jira is mostly used to. As a developer, let me talk as a developer. What I need to concentrate in Jira. As a developer, what should I need to concentrate? As a developer, you need to understand what is my task today. What is my task today? What did I complete yesterday, or what did I complete it? What is my plan? What did I complete yesterday? What is my task today? And if there are any blockers. Any blockers means if I have any issue, in order to fix the particular ticket, if I have any issue that I am not able to go further. So those are called as a blockers. So these four things you need to concentrate on when you are attending the sprint. Okay, when you say sprint means, let's say sprint means it is again different topic, but in quick way what I can say is, for example, any product, if company gets a product to implement it, they will give some timeline. Let's say that by December 2022 we will deliver the product to you. That means by December 2022 we'll give you the complete product to you, where the client can use or users can use it and book the appointment in this hospital. So that is the deadline we'll give it. But when we give the deadline, we have to plan deadline till the deadline. What are the things that we are going to do it? So that means this is a December. At the end, when we want a December 2022, we wanted to end it. December 2022, we wanted to end. Right? Where are we right now? We are in June. We are in June. In June, in July, August, September, October, let's say November. Okay. So we'll plan what needs to be delivered in June month, what needs to be delivered in July, what needs to be delivered in August, and when should we give the QA. Okay, this is the entire timeline for everybody, right? Between this June to July. Okay, this is the complete timeline. This is complete timeline from June to December. But in the month of June, again we'll have a smaller sprints. Sprint will have a 2 weeks of sprint. Like in June month, we have a 4 weeks, right? In June, we have a 4 weeks. Sprint is nothing, but it is a 2 weeks of sprint. Sprint is 2 weeks of sprint. That means 1 week is completely dedicated for developer. 1 week is dedicated for developer. And in case if it is not possible, developer can use the second week also. But ideally 1 week is completely dedicated to developer. And the second week is for testing team to test the stories, whatever is implemented by developers in sprint 1. So that means in June, we can plan 2 sprints. Sprint 1, which will take the sprint, first week and second week. And then again sprint 2. Okay. It is kind of a, if I have to say clearly, it is kind of, I have a bigger story I have divided into the smaller pieces. But at the end of June, I wanted to deliver the registration form. At the end of the June, I wanted to deliver the registration form. Okay, in order to deliver the registration form, there is a lot of work, multiple people has to work on this. So what they will do is this entire form, they will divide it into the smaller stories or smaller tasks, which we will plan it in sprint 1, what to deliver, sprint 2, what to deliver. And at the starting of sprint 3, QA team will start testing the complete functionality. So this is how the overall structure will be in the any company. Okay, so whenever you are starting your Jira, okay, this is I have created for my own purpose, but when you get it from the company, you will see your company, your name here. Okay, whatever the name you log in, you will see your name details here. And whatever the project you are working on, that project details will be here. I just gave this it, but whatever the project you are working on, you will see that project details. How to go to the project? Click on this arrow. View all projects, or if you are able to see the project, you can click on it. Otherwise, you can click on view all project. Select that project, go to that project. As soon as you go to the project, you will see the planning. Planning will be roadmap, backlog, board, and then development. Okay, and the releases. Okay, releases is nothing but by the end of December, we'll have around 1, 2, 3, maybe 2 releases. till August 1 release, and then November 1 release we can make it. It's all depending on how the company wants to deliver it. So those details you can see it here. Okay, you always have to go to your board. Okay, board is the one which will tell you what is the current sprint. If you go to the backlog will show all the stories that is yet to implement. It is not yet implemented. They are still sitting in the backlog. They are still sitting in the backlog. Nobody had taken up this. That means nobody started working on this. Backlog means nobody started working on this. When you go to the board, this is the one where your work will be there. As per the current sprint, whatever the work which we are planning for it, work which we are planning initially starting of the sprint, it will be in to-do list. There are 4 steps will be there. You can have a more steps also, or you can create it is like pushing to UAT, and then done. Done means it is released to the production or successfully pushed it to the production. Okay, so you always will be have it to do, which can be called as a backlog. In progress, this can also called as a development, in progress or development. Testing, UAT, that means it is moved to the staging. Done means the complete story is completed and client is also agreed it. So that's how the card goes to the done. So right now it is in to-do list. Okay, right now it is in to-do list. That means nobody has taken the task. Okay, so when you click on this set 1, okay, I'll open this. Couple of things to check here. Whenever a ticket is assigned to you, you look at your assignee. It should be your name. If it is your name, that means this particular ticket is assigned to you. That means you have to start working on this ticket, right? And which sprint it is? Here is the sprint. Okay. And during the planning phase, complete team will be sitting together. Okay, complete team means developer, QA, BA, everybody will be sitting in the room, going through the each story and giving the story points. How the story points will be? Story points will be like this, and it can change based on the company also. But ideally, 8 hours equal to 1 story point. 8 hours equal to 1 story point. If you think this particular story can be completed in 1 day, then you can give 1 story point. But if you think this is going to be taken 3 working days, or ideally 8 hours means 1 working day, right? Some companies will have 6 hours. 6 hours means 1 working day. 1 working day. So 1 working day equal to 1 story point. If you think the story is going to take 3 days to complete it because it is so complicated, then you can give the story point 3. Okay. So these are the couple of things you need to observe whenever the task is assigned to you or story is assigned to you. And the next thing is that look at this activities. All comments history. Okay. Whatever the work you have completed at the end of the day, add your comments here. Saying that, let's assume that started on today only. Started today online classes. Let's save it. When you save this, it will tell you when is the date that is added this particular comment. So it is always a good practice at the end of the day, add your comments here, whatever the research you have completed or whatever the analysis you are done related to this story, add the comments here. Okay. That is the practice, good practice. And when you get the ticket, how do you understand? Where do you have to check the data, the story? What is the story? Where to check? Where is the content? Everything will be in the description. Description will be having the problem statement. Description will be having the problem statement, and it will have the acceptance criteria. And it will have the acceptance criteria. What is the acceptance criteria means? Once the issue is fixed, how to test this particular story? How to test this particular story? Like it will be like this. Go to Salesforce, click on Account tab, create a record, save the record, check whether a record is created successfully or not. Or it will be the other way. A record should be created successfully without any issue. So this is the acceptance criteria. So something problem statement was maybe the account record is not creating it. Getting error while creating account record. While creating the account record, getting an error. This is the problem statement. Once the developer fixed the issue, how to test? This is especially for the testing team. Testing team accept the story only when they have a acceptance criteria, because they do not know. Not only testing team, nobody knows how to test this if there is no acceptance criteria, right? So acceptance criteria is very important. Either the project manager or developer has to add the acceptance criteria so that it is an easy job for testing team to test it. Right? So these are the main key points whenever you get the ticket or story. Right? So once you start the ticket, then move this to in progress. Move this to in progress. What will happen? This here it is to do, right? Refresh. You will see it is in progress. So basically, what is the view workflow here? If you click on this, it will show you the workflow. What is the workflow? It will create your initial stage will be to do. Once you are started, it will be in progress. If you move, that means development is completed. Now you can move it to the testing. Testing is completed, perfectly fine. You can push the changes to the UAT. So client is going to review the changes in UAT. Once that is fine, everything is satisfied, then we can move it to the done. That is the ideal story. right? So which we call it as a sprint. These are sprint activities. These are sprint activities. Sprint activities will be every day you will be having a daily stand-up. Daily stand-up, either morning or evening, whenever you start your working or at the end of the work, you will have a daily stand-up. During the daily stand-up, they will open the Jira, they will open the board. Okay, now they will go through the each of the issue, and project manager try to understand what is the status of each story here. Is there any blockers, or is there any issue with any ticket? They wanted to know in the daily stand-up. What they wanted, what project manager wanted to know is from the developer, what did you complete yesterday? What did you complete yesterday? What are you planning to start today? Any blockers? These are the main key points that the project manager wants to understand. Okay, so we have to update saying that, like, yesterday I worked on this, I'll be continuing doing this, or I have completed this development, this can be pushed to the testing. So they will push it to the testing. And what are you planning to start? So I'm planning to start the demo classes. Let me push it to the in progress. So that's how the Jira will be. So daily stand-up is the one which will be tracked there. What are you planning? Then we'll have apart from the daily stand-up, we'll have the grooming sessions. Grooming sessions means everybody sit together and groom the tickets. And then we have the planning will be there. Story planning or planning will be there. Then daily stand-up, then we have a retro. Retro is basically to get like any concerns, how it is going, everything they will cut. Retrospective, we call it as retrospective. Okay, any blockers or any what happened in the last sprint, anything you wanted to improve it, or is there any processes backlog or anything, like we can add what are the issues are there in that. So entire team will be attending that.
So it is something like what went well and what we need to improve further, right?
Yeah, so retrospective will be like if you are completed the sprint 1, okay, what went well in sprint 1, okay, what you wanted to improve in coming sprints. Any issues or any process improvement, right? So these are the things which we will covering in the retrospective. Is it clear? I know few members are new. This is something new for them, but do not worry. If you wanted to know more about Jira, we'll have a separate session for this. Okay, so whoever is new to Jira, whoever does not know the Jira, do not worry about it. Jira is just blindly, Jira is tracking purpose. Sorry, Sandeep, you have any questions?
Ma'am, Jira it's like a software. It's not like a link, right? We need to install this Jira.
It's not link, but company will be give you because when you create a Jira, when company creates a Jira, they will be having their unique name will be there. Okay. So what they have to do is they have to create your account in the Jira. Company will be having a Jira access. You need not to go to the Google and search for Jira. You need not to do all these things. Okay. Company has to give you the access. Like company has to go to the Jira and they should add you in this wherever they should add your account to there. So as soon as they add your account, you will get one email saying that your account is created in Jira. So whenever you get that email, there is a link below that. Click on that link and it will ask you to log in with the credentials. When it will ask you the credentials, give your company ID and password, what are the password, then log in. As soon as you log in there, by default, it will take you to the project.
Okay. In that email, we'll be getting a Jira link where we need to log in with our company credentials, right?
Yeah, company will be providing all the information, where to log in and how to get into that. So they will be giving that information. Or else if you wanted to try, you can try Jira free trial. There is a free trial will be there.
So this looks almost similar to Rally, but the look and feel is
This is
different.
similar to the real time, but there are few options which you cannot see here. Few options in a sense, like if I go to the some ticket, let me open this. There is something called a time tracking in Jira. Okay, so time tracking means here one option will be the time tracking, or I can say work log. That is basically how many hours you have worked on this particular story. You have to log the hours in there. So that option will not be available for the free trial. But when you get the credentials from the company, you will be able to see something like a time tracking here. Okay, if you wanted to try, you can go ahead and try. There is a like many things are there, free Jira fitness. So if you type Jira free trial, you will get options to so here you will see Confluence. Confluence is another one which is similar, like it's a part of Jira only, right? It's, I mean, there are two apps will be there, Jira and Confluence. So right now it is not showing me Jira because I already have a Jira access. So it is showing me Confluence here. Confluence is where we document the everything. Like if I have implemented something for some requirement. So we have to document the requirement, whatever I have implemented as a functionality. It's called as a functional document and technical document. So we have to document the technical stuff as well as the functional stuff in the Confluence page. Few companies might use, few companies might not use the Confluence, but Jira will be, most of the companies will be using it. Okay. Any other question before I switch to this Salesforce? Any questions before I switch Salesforce?
No, 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 no. One update is going to be there till 8:30. 8:30 I have a meeting, obviously.
Can you repeat that, Hema?
I will be there in the class till 8:30. 8:30 I am having a meeting actually, flight time.
Okay. Anyway, we'll give you the recording. Okay. Let me quickly stop this recording.